Today I'm going to be explaining a handful of tips that are going to allow you to easily beat Nightmare and Nightmare with doing the Easter egg as well. The biggest tip for beating the maps on Nightmare and the Easter egg is that you don't actually need to put it to Nightmare until wave 9 or before wave 10. So even when there's one enemy remaining on wave 9, you can increase the difficulty to Nightmare. Now you do need to do this before killing the final boss. As you can see, we made it to the final boss on wave 7. We brought the boss down to 5% health, and ideally what you want to do is have one player at the beginning of wave 9 just be waiting at the increased difficulty farm around there, and then when the team lets them know to increase the difficulty, they'll increase the difficulty to Nightmare. Another huge advantage is to have at least 2 out of your 4 players, ideally all 4 players, but at least have 2 players have the God Killer weapon, which is acquired by beating the Easter egg on all the maps on any difficulty, because you actually do need your players to have knowledge of the Easter egg as well if you do want to beat it in a timely fashion. As you can see us beating the Easter egg on Nightmare here on wave 12. Another top tip is to spend as little as possible on weapons and upgrades early. You should be using as much of your money to progress the game and the campaign story, whether it be open doors or to move the quiet one along faster. You buy as little weapons as possible. There's no reason for the first 9 waves you can't use your knife and pistol. Now, if you get lucky and you get some extra money, yeah, you can buy a weapon, you can get an upgrade if you're good, but if you're not aiming or on pace to get to that first boss by wave 10, definitely be limiting your money as much as possible for spending. And the only 2 perks you really want is the extra life perk right before you switch it to Nightmare, and the only other really good one is movement speed. Those should really be the only 2 perks you are buying by around wave 10. Another top tip that allow you to complete the game in a couple less ways than if you don't utilize this tip is whenever you're about to fight a boss, have one player take the last enemy in the wave and bring him away from where the team plans to kill the boss. The other 3 players then kill the boss with no worries of progressing the wave, and then when the boss is dead, you can move on to the next objective. Now, this is semi-useful in the first half. Once you get to the Easter egg on Nightmare, it's very easy to progress 1 or 2 waves in a single boss battle, so you can easily get to the final boss within a couple waves less if you utilize this strategy. To elaborate on a tip I briefly went over a little bit earlier, I did mention that the team should have basic knowledge of the Easter egg and story. You do ideally want a 4-man team so you can split objectives, especially on some maps where one player is ideally positioned at the next objective, so the moment one objective finishes, the other player can immediately start the next one. Our last tip is how to become invincible. Sadly, we can't guarantee this, but through RNG, there is a very good chance that at least one of our 4 players will achieve this by mid-game. So, all you need is 5 pieces of ice gear. We're going for the winter shield. That'll basically make you indestructible, and for a skilled gamer that can only occasionally take hits, indestructible. They're invincible. So, we do not want Ice Storm. You want any level of the Ice Bomb, Frost Fire, Ice Elixir, Ice Stab, Cold Shoulder, Ice Skin, or Slice and Dice. Do not upgrade any of them. You want to get 5 pieces and then keep rerolling until you get Winter Shield. All 4 players are going for that build right there, and all 4 players should be going for the Invincible Ultimate, because that is the only way you're going to revive somebody during a wave. You might have the slight 5% chance where you can get a revive normally, but otherwise, your only chance of reviving is to make yourself invincible. And FYI, you can start a revive, and then the moment before you would take damage, keep holding the revive button and pop your ability and become invincible for 5 seconds. So, invincible to stay alive, and everybody go for the Winter Shield to become basically invincible once they get that. If you utilize these tips I just laid out in any decent 4-player squad, I guarantee you that you can go back to back and knock out all these maps on Nightmare and knock out the Easter egg on Nightmare as well. If you like the video, leave a like, comment, share. It helps others find the video. I hope this helped.